Welcome to another video on my ESP32. If you watched my previous videos, then you know that I've been struggling with the wiring, and I have now a decent breadboard with 2 voltage inputs and the ground. Obviously this voltage mains is going to be transferred from this terminal to here. This is plus, so it will go here, and this is ground, which will go here. But the biggest challenge will be the transfer of the ESP itself to here. It has the same number of lanes or rows. So my idea is to put it right here, which is not easy here because of the gap, but it may succeed here. If not, I have a very different problem as well. Anyway, that is the focus right now. So let's see how we can how I can get it done. Right, the wiring for the power has been completed, and it took some more time than expected because while this was easy to do, I also had to put connections between all the lanes. The power is no longer coming in from one lane, but the ground was closer to here, the power closest to this one, so I have wires go everywhere to connect all power lanes and all ground lanes, red being red and blue. Next phase is to see if this one transfers nicely, because the other things like sense segment display, event microphone, light dependent resistor and the buzzer, yeah, they will be fine. Another thing is, by the way, this one, the electrolytic capacitor, ELCO for short, should be somewhere here as well, in case that I really get to use the UART, which comes from the pins of the ESP32 instead of via the USB. Anyway, that's another question. So, transfer. Hopefully it goes alright. Which brings me, by the way, to another point. Since this is sensitive bare electronics, I have to use an ESD mat, electrostatic discharge. So this mat is grounded or wired to ground, and I have myself connected to the static as well, or to the ground, not to the static. So with that said, let's actually take it off carefully. See if this works out, and it barely fits. So if I take this, then it should just fit, yes. And barely, really barely. Do I push through or not? That's the question. Metal can be can bend, but is it wise? I have to take this on very, very carefully. Oops. Okay, I hardly dare to push it all the way through, but I have to keep in mind as well that I didn't push it the whole way through because of these wires which were stuck under it. So this was the lane where the pins were, and this is the lane the wires were stuck. Now the wires won't be stuck underneath it, they will be in the same lane as this power line. So this is the power for the ESP. And now the question is, how are these lines? And I will take schematics for it, which I made myself. So that's another question, but a lot easier, because now I won't have to put them under the ESP. They go besides it. So let's see how that works out. Now the situation gets a bit different. Assuming that this is all connected well, I have, as you can see here in the schematics with the cursor, ground and 13. Now ground is ground, but there's a green LED. Also here a green LED with a resistor. This is pin 13, and on the other end connected to ground. This is ground, LED, resistor, pin 13. So what is the ground attached to now? Well, as this is one lane, one wire from here, now here, from ground to this lane to the ground. So this is a bit different. Question is, will this solve working of this? Because I've hardly seen this one work. Not sure. Time will tell. So, anything else? Yes, of course. Some wires still to put in another place, but since I have here several lanes free directly connected to the pins, I probably won't need these wires anyway. Not anymore. The same goes for this. This is easily transferable here, if it works. If it doesn't work, because the pins are not connected, which I doubt by the way, then that becomes an entirely different story. But let's hope that this will work. Next step is the motors, which is not running from the flash memory, but it is running via random access memory. And if you look at this part, the orange, which is pulse modulation, is from 25. Now 25 is right here, and let me be secure and take still the ESD cable. So we are going here, and I'm using left hand because I don't want to obscure the camera. So there is orange, there is brown for ground, and then there is red for 3.3 volts. 3.3 volts is right here. And yes, you can barely see it in the camera, but that is in the corner. 25 is somewhere here. So let's take them all out and hope things go fine. So orange is 25, which is here. And now it doesn't matter where I exactly put it. So here is fine. Then brown has to be in the ground. But ground is not wired here. So that is a little bit of an oops. It was here, it can't be here, so I have to change it. Now here I have a ground as well, so I don't have to use this ground. I can do it somewhere else, but that has consequences for the wiring. Let me try to put it here, but I have to be very careful, because one of the pins of the wire, not this one, but the one for the LCD, was already broken. So, orange, pulse modulation. Yeah, I have to be really careful, so I better put it here. Less strain on the cable, much less strain on the cable. This is ground. And then this one for 3.3 volts, which can of course be here at this place. So, taking a distance, it works out. If not too much physical strain applied, then of course it remains to be seen how it actually works out, but that's another matter. So with much more holes in here, hopefully it is connecting, it will be much easier. What next? LDR, light dependent resistor, right here, 3.3 volts and 36 with a resistor to the ground. I have all the ground I need. And here's the LDR. And here's the resistor. So let's try to fix that. And then I realized I make a thinking mistake. I do need all these wires after all, because here's a plus and ground, or voltage and ground, but here as well, here and here and here and here. That means that these are not interconnected. They are the same rows, but only for these 5. So I have to make bridges here, wired bridges. So now everything works, and with this ground I have to make a bridge between this one and this one. So does it all work? Remains to be seen still, but at least with these bridges, LDR and normal resistor and pulse modulation, etc. Yes, now it's interconnected to 3.3 volts for this one and this one. And because of that, I am absolutely not sure that I have enough wires. And I could have known everything, of course, because this one was placed in here and it did work. So yes, these two are not interconnected, not by themselves. So in this perspective, I'll think I'll keep it for this video, and next time continuation, and see if everything does work, because that's still not tested. I can test it, of course, for LED, etc., but the 7-segment display has not been connected, as you can see, so that's not viewable. This is just a value that pops up, and this one is dependent on the microphone, which is here, etc. Only this LED is a frequent show up, as is this buzzer, and those are not set up. So Can I do that? Let me try. So, quick short test. It is powered up by means of this one, not by means of this connector. This one is showing some activity already, but it's not blinking. Let me just run it. And then of course something should be seen. Oh, now it's uploading. Very good. And it is, oh yes. There's no doubt. The ESP is connected thoroughly and the output is correct. Just the baud rate is far off. That is better. So that is it for now. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel. Give the video a thumbs up. Leave a comment or suggestion, very much appreciated. You can also follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Please show support by either becoming a patron and have your name mentioned, or by donating via PayPal or IBAN, and you don't need an account for PayPal. This is obviously going to be continued, so stay tuned. By the way, you can subscribe by clicking on this thumbnail. And well, see you later. Take care. Bye.